Hey everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to my first video as well. I'm going to be showing you guys how to do what I call a berry smoky eye look, as well as my foundation routine, so I hope you enjoy. Right now I'm starting off with the Drunk Elephant Polypeptide Moisturizer. This is a great moisturizer for people of dry to combination skin. I like to use this moisturizer for my dry skin. It makes a great base along with the primer that you're about to see next. Up next, I use the Becca First Light Priming Filter. This is my favorite primer. As you can see, I haven't used that many primers over the time being of me doing my makeup, but I've used a few and I've always stuck with this one. So this is a good primer for people of dry to combination skin. It really honestly works for everyone, in my opinion. I use it just because it has a very cooling effect on your face, as well it just brightens your skin and makes your skin very glowy. Now I'm going to go in with my favorite foundation ever. This is the foundation I get a lot of compliments on. It is the NARS Sheer Glow Foundation in the shade Syracuse. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. And I'm going to mix it in with my two concealers. One of them is the Tarte Creaseless Concealer, and the other one is the LA Pro Girl in Pure Beige. So I mix those in. It also creates more coverage. So I don't know, that's probably has to do with getting a lot of compliments too. Because it does add more coverage, and the foundation alone is pretty sheer. So I'm just going to mix in all of those shades, and it's going to get lighter and thicker, the perfect consistency. You may also be wondering why I'm not using my concealer for my under eyes, and I use the LA Pro underneath my eyes and highlight and whatever, but I don't use the Tarte Creaseless because ironically it's not creaseless, at least for me. It's just a little bit too thick for my liking. It just exaggerates my lines underneath my eyes, and that's not what I want. So I just stick with the LA Pro for highlights. Okay, so you guys will see me do a lot of blending during this part because it is very important to make sure that everything is blended in. That is how you get your smooth skin basically, and what is going to make the base of your whole makeup. I think honestly foundation is the most important part of makeup, just because if you have a smooth base, then I feel like everything else will just come along easier. You also want to make sure you're getting into the creases and cracks of your face. You want to make sure you're getting behind your nose, I was going to say behind your ears, not behind your ears. You want to make sure you're getting underneath your chin, blending into your neck, and all of the edges on your face, girl, because otherwise you just look like you just painted your face and it doesn't really look like skin. It just looks like you literally put makeup on, and that's not what we want to look like. We want to look like this is our natural skin. This is me. So this is my second favorite part of doing my makeup. My first favorite part is of course foundation, and then a nice good conceal, something that's smooth, not too thick, not too watery. That's why I love this concealer, and it just keeps me looking good throughout the whole day. And just a little disclaimer, I guess it's not really a disclaimer, but I guess just to state the obvious, I am in my living room right now. This is what I just have for now, guys, so I mean, I hope it's not too unappealing, but I just found that my living room had the best lighting. So soon I'm gonna try to get a ring light and then do my makeup whenever I can. Pretty much I can do it at night, during the day, whenever, so I'm excited about that. Okay, so I had applied the concealer underneath my eyes, forehead, on the top of my lip, and on my chin a little bit. So I just started blending it out with my Morphe sponge, and I do everything but my under eyes last, just because I like to let it sit underneath my eyes a little bit longer than everything else, just to make that brightening effect, just to make it a little bit more brighter. So now going into my under eye concealer, I blended in from the bottom up and over my eyelids. I still had some eyeshadow left from the day before, so I'm just using whatever is left from my concealer to cover some of the pink on my eyelid. So now I'm going in with my favorite powder ever. This is such a very loose, well, it is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Setting Powder, and it's just very smooth, very fine milled. I know that Nikki Tutorials uses this, but you know, I used it before her, but when I saw her use this, I was like, yeah, definitely this is such a good powder. So I'm gonna start underneath my eyes and then go in with the rest of my face in places that may be creasy or oily. And I'm using my Fenty Beauty not setting sponge, but the Fenty Beauty sponge. It is just a regular blending sponge, but I figured it's really good for setting powder. So it's kind of old, that's why it's a little bit dirty, sorry guys. But I figured I'd use it for something. So yeah, it wasn't too bad either. I felt it made my skin look good. It just soaked up a lot of my foundation. And of course, no shade to Rihanna. She has so many great products on her Fenty line, but this sponge just wasn't the most popular one. So that's all I'm saying. And now I'm going to dust it off with this e.l.f. brush that I've had forever. I've had this for so long, but it still works good. This is the e.l.f. brush. I'm not sure which one it is, but I use it to dust off my powder. And again, I'm just leaving on my under eye powder the longest, because I'm also going to use that to catch any fallout on my eyeshadow from my eyeshadow. And now I'm using this amazing palette from Juvia's. This is called the Nubian 2, and I'm going to dip into the shade Jezebel. This is the first palette that I've got from them, and I already love it so much. I loved all of their palettes that when I went into Ulta, but this one I was just like, I could use this for so many looks. So this is one that I chose, and I'm going to put that shade all over my eyelid, not too high, and then just make sure I'm blending out the edges. And please correct me guys if I'm saying the names wrong. You can correct me for that. I love this palette, so I love this company really, so I wouldn't want to disrespect them in any way. Next I use the shade Kenya, and I'm just going to briefly, just a little bit, put that in my crease part. And I'm also going to just make sure it's well blended into the shade Jezebel. So now I'm dipping into the shade Madagascar, and I'm going to put that on the very outer part of my eye, and just to make that a good transition. I know usually people put the transition color first, but whatever, I put it last, so what, fight me. So now I'm dipping back into my Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. This is just to make sure all of the edges are buffed out and blended and no harsh lines. That's just what I prefer. I learned this trick somewhere. I probably learned it from one of the billing YouTubers I follow. And it's just a good way of making sure there's no harsh lines. And I apologize for that white piece of lint on my sleeve that just invited itself to the party. So I know some of you guys have OCD, and I'm sorry. So now I am going in with my Voluminous Liner by L'Oreal. This is not my preference, honestly. Sorry. I like to use the NYX. I can't remember the name of it, but it's just very thin. And instead of a felt tip, it has a brush tip. It's just a very, very thin brush tip. And it's completely matte and stays on all night. It stays on forever. So if you guys need a good recommendation for eyeliner, I would recommend that one. This one is good too, the felt tip by L'Oreal, but it's just not as pigmented as I would want it to be. But you can see I'm doing a winged eyeliner and really trying to make it not too thick. I used to be a pro, I must say, at eyeliner, and when I stopped doing it, I lost my skills, and now I'm trying to get to that finesse again. So now using my Morphe M507 brush, yes, this one does have a name, I know. I'm going to dip that into the shade Cleopatra. This is such a royal blue shimmery shade, and I'm going to put that underneath my eye. I'm also going to blend that into the edge of my eyeliner and into my inner corner. It just makes the eye look very bold and just very accentuated. Your eyes can appear very just big, at least for me. And I just like that look. I feel like my eyes are on the smaller side, so I definitely want to try to make them look bigger and appear bigger than they are. Excuse my face for how it looks right now too. I get a double chin whenever I'm trying to do my under eyes, so I feel like it happens to everyone. Now I'm going to take my L'Oreal Lash Paradise Mascara. This is a dupe for the Too Faced Better Than Sex Mascara. I think a lot of people know that. But I'm just going to use a regular black shade and also waterproof and use a lot of layers because I don't have fake lashes today. How can I show you exactly how I feel? 'Cause girl, the skin on the low and plan on me way before. Had a girl out in love, said she didn't love no more. Then had relationships, I had to stay on my toes. Ooh, I didn't fall in love with hoes. How you think that they played on my soul? So now I'm going to take this MAC shade, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's just a very bright pink, kind of like a hot pink shade, and I'm going to use the shade Madeline in the NYX Butter Gloss collection. I love the butter glosses, and I'm going to put that in the center.
got my back and you gon' always ride for me. Baby, promise me one thing that you gon' hold that down for me. You gon' be my round for me. Tell me where to go, I'ma tell you what it mean. Girl, you safe and sound with me. Teach you how to roll, I'ma teach you how to eat. The shit that you do make that boy wanna sing. We paving the way so to stay in the lane. Gotta fuck with a real who gon' show you shit.
So I ended up just changing my mind and going with a pinky nude lip using my concealer and my NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Madeline. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment anything in the comment section of what you guys might want to see next. Also, you could follow my Instagram account at _DaySimone, and I'll see you guys soon.